The reason why men can't be the stay-at-home dad is because most women won't accept it. It's really cute when Scott Galloway and Richard Reeves start talking about the stay-at-home dad and women need to be more accepting of men who make less money. You can say that all you want, and then I will show you the divorce statistics.
All right, ladies, here, let's try this one.
Something is happening to men in our culture that we really need to talk about. You know, it used to be when women made more money than their husbands, I guess it emasculated them, and as a result, the research showed that they were more likely to cheat. But there are some new role models on the block. People like Benny Blanco and Travis Kelce, who are happy to be the cheerleader for their billionaire wives. Now, I know at the lowest end, there are guys targeting women for their wallets. Okay, that's a whole other thing. But imagine these guys out there telling men, stand behind your woman, be the protector. You don't have to be necessarily the provider, although they do have millions, don't they? But there are ways that I see that men are subtly changing. They're being more caring of us. They're being more protective of us. I married a man who makes less money than me, and I love it. He does laundry, he does dishes, he takes such good care of me, and he is my biggest cheerleader. I hope that for all of you.
Does the laundry and does the dishes.
Oh, God.
I rebuke that.
What a wonderful wife.
Rebuke.
Oh, God.
Anybody else have some things about this? So I'm going to say something that's horribly offensive. You ready?
Yes.
When men make less money than women, women divorce them. It is one of the top 3 reasons why women choose to divorce men. Is that a societal norm enforced on men by men, or is it a societal norm enforced on men by women?
But Mike, Travis Kelce is
Travis Kelce's worth $27 million, and she's a
I don't
billionaire.
know if is it enforced by men or women. It's kind of just like the tables.
If I know you're going to divorce me, if I lose my job, it encourages me to be more competitive and still continue to make money. That is not enforced on me by men. That's not.
But also, aren't you going to be like a little bit poo-pooed in your male circle? Like if you're just like losing your job and you're unable
my
to...
marriage is not determined by being poo-pooed in my male circle. It doesn't matter.
But you're going to feel less of a man.
And by the way, let me tell you something. So I'm friends with really, really successful dudes, including your boyfriend, and we don't talk about that shit at all. We never talk
about your job.
We talk about our jobs, but it's like if he quit his job or if I quit mine, I'm not going to feel less about him. I don't care at all. It doesn't matter at all. But what we do talk about is solving problems for one another. That's just kind of the language we have.
But if your male friend lost his job and
I'm not sleeping with my male friend though.
But
that's
he lost his job, and he just kind of was like, "Well, I lost my job. I don't have a job."
I would immediately try to help him get another job.
You would be a little concerned, like, okay,
I would immediately try to get him a new job.
Maybe take a month off, guy, but you got to get back on the horse.
Of course, but I would
you would have some thoughts around that.
Again, I would have thoughts about it and try to help him get another job. I wouldn't divorce him. Talk to James Sexton. They're divorcing.
I want him to.
100%. When we have James Sexton here, I will 100% call you to come on. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll try to have James Sexton on Access Vegas. That's the thing. Like, this is the part that makes people angry. It's like the reason why men can't be the stay-at-home dad is because most women won't accept it. It's really cute when Scott Galloway and Richard Reeves start talking about the stay-at-home dad and women need to be more accepting of men who make less money. You can say that all you want, and then I will show you the divorce statistics.
I wouldn't respect a man who stayed at home, and in fact, every day I would have a growing resentment towards him.
I was going to
like an extreme example.
I'm
sure there are extreme where it has to be
because
that way,
I think what happens is when you switch the gender roles, when the man becomes the guy who's the nurturer and the stay-at-home guy, he's a berry picker, right? Then the woman goes out and becomes the hunter, right? And so what happens is, and this is what just drives me insane with guys like Scott Galloway or Dr. Richard Reeves, they seem to think that we need to encourage that more. We need to see, we need to encourage the gender roles because the gender roles are just social constructs,
No,
right?
they're not.
And so ignoring 200,000 years of human evolution where the man is the hunter and the woman is the gatherer, right? Mm-hmm. And women are the vulnerable sex. Women are the ones that need to be protected, need to be provided for, need to be, have long-term security, right? You're not going to reprogram 200,000 years of evolutionary psyche in a woman's mind.
No matter how many iPhones.
No matter what. And so like when I'm seeing this, and even Dr. Richard Reeves, I've got that one video on tap too, where Dr. Richard Reeves' wife was saying, I need you to be more masculine. Mm-hmm. And he didn't understand that because he wanted to be a good feminist. He thought like supporting her and appeasing her and just basically identifying with the feminine was making him more attractive as a man. Like that's what women want. They want a guy who can be really a more perfected female, right?
No.
And so she has to say, she has to actually step in and say, I need you to be more masculine.
Yikes.
And I was just like, this is what I'm talking about. You've had it happen to you, in person. It's an evolutionary dynamic between men and women, because what happens is when you put women into the position of having to be the provider, having to step into the role of the masculine, that guy becomes dead weight. He becomes one of the they're just big children. Yeah, literally they are. They become big children because now he is a resource drain on her rather than it being the other way around.
Well,
How does that work?
It was interesting the way she even described it in that video. Men are becoming protectors. They're willing to stand behind us. And it's like, that's not a fucking protector. That's a wimp. That's a bitch.
Protector. I'm willing to stand in front of you. Yeah, I'm in front of you with a shotgun. Yeah.
Willing to take the bullet for you if necessary. That's not a protector.
Well, you need polarity in your relationship to endure long term, and it reverses it to a reverse polarity. Well, now you have the feminine leading. It's probably the worst case scenario.
Thank you, Andrew Wilson. I didn't realize you were going to be on the show today, Andrew.
Yeah. So it is. I mean, if it doesn't lead to divorce, or at least it's going to lead to a dead bedroom, 100%.
What about in same-sex relationships?
There's always a dominus. There's always you'll notice that even in in homosexual relationships, there's always the butch and there's always the femme, right? And there's always the dom and there's always the sub. Even in homosexual relationships, it still mirrors. It's a variation on a theme. Basically, there's always going to be a dominant personality that assumes the masculine, and then there's going to be the submissive, the feminine one. Unless you're in a throuple, I guess. I don't know. But the thing is like when you look at those, there's still going back to it's what is called gender dimorphism. Is what it is.
This gender norm is, I'm not saying there aren't gender norms enforced by men. There are some. What I'm saying, this particular gender norm is that the idea of a man being a provider is not enforced on men by men. It is enforced on men by women. And that's the reason why we feel the necessity to be competitive. That and the fact that we have 17 times as much testosterone.
Yeah, your testosterone.
Yep.
Whether or not it has to do with a job or anything. I mean, that's why you guys want to have sex with multiple women as well. That's what drives you guys.
It's advantageous for us genetically to have sex with multiple women because we can, have you seen recently Cardi B's boyfriend, Stephon Diggs, the wide receiver for the Patriots? He has 4 women pregnant currently at the same time, but he doesn't have the record. Tyreek Hill for the Dolphins, I believe, has 9 different IG models who have had kids for him while he's married. Since he's been married. And so, it's advantageous for from an ancestral standpoint, it's advantageous for men to do that. But it's not advantageous for women because you can only get pregnant by one guy at a time. That's the difference.
Does he identify as Genghis Kong?
Something like that.
Jesus Christ, like conquer.
I do believe it's very difficult for a woman to respect a man who is a stay-at-home father. And it's just going to change the expectation of, I don't want to speak for all women. I would have a very hard time having a man stay at home or making a significant amount of money less than me.
I would respect a man.
I cannot.
And also the Travis Kelce situation with Taylor Swift. Anybody want to put money on it? I will be willing to, I'll bet you thousands of dollars that doesn't make it 5 years. If you guys want to take that bet, I will absolutely take that bet with you.
Do you think Travis does laundry and dishes for Taylor Swift?
Yeah, it's so unfair. I will say this. It's so unfair to take these celebrities and say, okay, well, it's good enough for Cardi B or it's good enough. Yeah, they're not real people in regards to what's actually happening with you or I. It's so ridiculous, and I wish people would stop.
Well, I think the same thing happens with the television shows where the 50-year-old woman is having her first kid. I think that's also damaging.
It's an extreme example.
Yeah. But it causes other women to think, well, no, it's not a big deal. I'll just wait till I'm 50. I'll just get IVF. It won't cost anything. The government will pay for it, and I'll just have babies at 50. They believe this. You don't believe me? Go watch Suits. The show Suits. The character Sheila Zass has her first kid at 53 years old, and it's what's going on here? Wait, what? I think
First try.
I think that's scary. I think it's actually damaging. That message is actually damaging.